Look at us starting early. Never get this in fucking Speedway, do you?
Don't get this anywhere else, do you?
No.
Ooh, it's cold.
Is it really?
Got goosebumps like the Rock.
Are you entering on Raw as well?
So, hello, good Tuesday evening. Welcome to Shoot Some Shale, powered by D&D Media. As today, myself and Mr. Dillon give our championship predictions. Oh, that was a wet trump for 2025.
Oh God!
um,
Start as we mean to go on.
yeah, you know how it is. So before we kick off with everything, we here at D&D would like to wish our sponsored uh, racer, Ryan Ingram, a happy 15th birthday. And please don't be shit in the season.
And that's the important stuff out the way.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And now we get on to some stuff that's probably going to get Palmer ranting again.
Not again.
Do you want to load up the statement that went out this morning because it impacts
Um,
check Speedway Fans
it,
Network? There was a screen grab of
it
it posted in there.
Speedway Fans Network. Speedway Fans Network UK.
That's the one. Little bit of free promotion. Maybe they'll come on board and help us out. We can all help each other out. Friends.
So, on 28th of February 2025, that's in a month, the Eurosport and TNT sports brands will be brought together with all sports content available in one single destination via TNT Sports. This means the Discovery Plus standard plan and Eurosport linear channels are closing. Knobheads. What about my subscription, may you ask? On your next renewal date, or on or after today, the price of your plan will decrease to the price of the basic plan of £3.99 a month. From the 28th of February, sports content included Eurosport 1 and Eurosport 2 will no longer be included in your plan from your next renewal on or after the 28th of February. You will continue to renew on the basic plan unless you cancel your account before that renewal. If your plan was previously ad-free in on-demand content in the basic plan contains ads. And
Reactions to that?
that means to watch some shitty coverage of the Premiership and the GPs. Unless you get an illegal fire stick, that's going to cost you 31 quid a month.
31 quid a month for 2 British meetings and a Grand Prix that Bartek will more than likely win every month. I mean, I know that if you watch like motorbikes or snooker or skiing or tennis or any of that that's also on Eurosport, then maybe it's a decent deal for you, but it's certainly not a good deal if you're only into your Speedway. And to be fair, the Speedway fan range is relatively high. It's towards the end of life, rather than the start.
Speedway, it's aging like its fan base. End of life care. Do not resuscitate.
But yeah, you're gonna spend 31 quid a month to watch a couple of meetings, which, let's be honest, their coverage isn't fantastic.
It's crap.
I do think you're
It would
right.
help if they had a better presenter.
Yeah, I do think, and a much better commentator.
I mean, I know a couple of guys.
Ashton Goujon, where are you?
Glasgow Mush.
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? And you are right. Fire sticks will become a thing of the present, and it's one of them things. Us moaning isn't going to do a lot, but we're all being punished because they want more money. It's as simple as that. If you like your sports, you're fucked now.
From my understanding, though, Phil Morris is trying to arrange a deal where it's more
Accessible.
affordable for British fans. But I think they should just, like, if Eurosport still want to show Speedway or whatever the bloody hell they're called now, just bang it on YouTube. Nobody watches it anyway.
See, I feel as though the contract was signed with Discovery for 5 years. Now,
It was.
that literally worded
Which-
Eurosport and Discovery Plus, which is now the goalposts have changed. For me, that
I-
should void a contract.
Ironically enough, 2025 is the last year of that contract.
Perhaps they're going to try and skim as much money out of people. 'Cause I think we've both said this before. I fully expect British Speedway, the entirety of British Speedway, to go on to BSN once the TV deal runs out.
Oh, that is 125% happening.
And I'd be glad if
Even
it did,
I'm-
because BSN, I wouldn't even mind paying the extra money for BSN because it's Speedway focused, whereas obviously Eurosport won't be.
I'd rather pay Speedway people the money rather than
100%, yeah, 100%.
like
I'd pay 350 quid if it got me a season of Premiership and Championship racing by people who know what they're talking about and actually give a toss about the sport.
I mean, if we was paying sort of, even if it got to like 400 quid, I know it sounds a lot, but if we're getting 90 meetings a year, I wouldn't be too mad at that.
If you had it's going to be sort of 185 quid for 6 months of TNT Sport with Discovery and stuff like that on it and Speedway on it. If you add that onto what you're paying for BSN, you're into the 350, 400 quid depending on the package you've got. And that's for any sport. And people are going to pay 31 quid a month, and if you don't like any other sports bar Speedway, you're going to get 2 meetings and a Grand Prix out of it. That is not value for anyone's money.
The worst bit is if you're watching it. I know there are a few people that don't watch British Speedway and they just have it for the GPs.
If you've only getting one GP for that, Christ.
And at the end of the day, this company that's got the GPs, you've got it for another 10 years.
Yeah. Do you think they've got wind of the fact British Speedway won't re-sign and they've decided, we're going to make as much money as we can out of this now before you leave?
I don't think British Speedway was part of their decision at all.
That's true, yeah. It seems to be the case, doesn't it? British Speedway gets forgotten about all the time.
For such a minority sport, I don't think, the couple of thousand, maybe the 10,000 people that'll watch, I don't think that'll influence their decision one bit. That we're not gonna, let's say as an example, you're not gonna get 84-year-old Judith going to McDonald's to say you need to start doing vegan chocolate pie.
Sounds quite
Because
nice,
are they going to listen?
No.
No.
On the flip side, though, I'm trying to find even a smidgen of a light at the end of the tunnel. Do you think this would encourage more fans to come together and go to the pub and watch it?
If you could get a pub to show Speedway, I can't see why not.
Most of them do. I know the Cleveland Arms in Wolverhampton, they show all Speedway. Will, who owns that, loves Speedway. Loves all sports, but really does love Speedway. So he shows Grand Prix, league racing and stuff, and you get a fair few Wolves fans and local fans all come together. You know, if you've got a pub near a track, you know, it would definitely be worth showing Speedway, getting in them punters, because then they can benefit. At least I'd rather go and put that 30 quid into a bar and get some decent drinks out of it for 3 nights a week, like a month.
Oh, damn right. Well, I mean, the key thing you said there was the owner loves Speedway.
That's true, yeah.
So he's going to want to watch it anyway, or she, depending on 2025 and all that.
Toasters, microwaves and all of that shit.
No one seems to want to identify as an air fryer, though.
Air fryers are
Anyway.
good.
Anyway, we've got some motorbikes going round in circles to chat about.
Yeah, off the... well, we thought it was quite a successful stream, the Premiership ones. We've decided to do the Championship ones as well. We started a bit early because we had something to talk about then. We've got something to talk about at the end, which some people may be happy about. I know he certainly wasn't, but some people might be. But first, we're gonna predict how the Championship League, the Cab Direct Championship, innit, is going to look this year, in our opinion.
Yeah, please be informed that our opinions are from our minds and our minds only. If you are listening as a fan of a Cab Direct Championship team and you do not respect our opinions, go and get a life.
Warning is there and done. So first of all, we're going to look at the Championship table that we've predicted. We've also again got our friends involved with Winchester, Alan and Mr. Wheeler giving their thoughts. We'll flash up the entire table with our thoughts and theirs on, and quickly discuss that at the end of this segment and all the other segments we got coming up. So Palmer, your 9th place team.
So my 9th place team is the Plymouth Gladiators, because they can sign Nikolai Clint, they could sign Bartosz Marzyk if they so wished. They look shit with a capital S and a capital hit, and they're going to get battered everywhere they go. They're going to get battered at home, and basically they're going to be worse than a fish in a chip shop.
I've also said Plymouth. I'll come on to this later in a later segment as to why I think this, but they've pulled off the eye-catching signing of Nikolai Clint, but the other 6 riders need to be sort of bob on as well, and I just don't think they're quite there. They're still the only team yet to announce their final signing as well. There is rumours as to who that'll be. It's not going to be anyone fantastic. They've only got a shade over 4 points to use. Yeah, I think it's going to be another tough season down at Plymouth, but they have shown a little bit of desire by signing Nikolai Clint.
Look at us, we've got this cracking number 1. We can't afford him, so put your money in your pockets and give everything you've got to us.
And the other thing as well, Clint's just coming back from a fairly serious injury.
100%.
And that's a really difficult track to get round.
It is.
Your 8th place team, Palmer. I know you know what I've said for this and you're not going to be very happy with it, but yeah.
So I have predicted Oxford in 8th, because again, much like Plymouth, I think they're a bit crap, and other than Sam Masters, they haven't really got any heat leaders in the team. They've got a heat leader, well, number 1, they've got 4 second strings, and then the rest are reserves.
I absolutely agree with that, to be honest. Obviously, the glaring miss from that team is Scott Nicholls, who's not going to be fit for the start of the season. That team with Scott Nicholls in looks a little bit, but at least they've got a top 1 and 5, and Heat 13s and 15s may look a bit better, but somebody, Cameron Heaps maybe, has got to step up as the Heat leader in there. I just don't see it happening.
Cameron Heaps is the second highest average rider in the Oxford team.
He's good at home, but he's not very good away, is he? I've got Scunny in 8th. This is a strange one because not a lot has really changed to their team. Nathan Ablett, Mark Palmtoft and Carl Howarth have left. Stevie Worrell and the Kennedy brothers have come in. But the Kennedy boys both at reserve, if they click and take to the tracks again, strong, they'll be fine, but I just don't think they will. I think Steve Worrell's an upgrade at number 1 over the Palm Tree or Kyle, but he had obviously illness at the end of last year, so it's how he's going to come back. I just think it's going to be a tough season for Scunny in what's been recent times fairly successful.
I'll give my thoughts on Scunny when we get to him.
7th place, who have you got?
7th, I've gone for Workington. Great number 1. Can't believe I'm saying that. Great number 1 in Troy Batchelor, who's really adapted to life in Cumbria. Tate Zishki, if he returns back to the form he was, great, no complaints. And if it depends on Anthony Vulas, but the rest of almost unknown quantities other than Chai Etheridge, which, let's be honest, he's not riding at Berwick, is probably going to be a bit crap.
Yeah, I agree with that. 7th, I've got Oxford for what we just spoke about, really. Other than Sam, there isn't a second or a third heat leader in that team, I don't think. Decent reserve with Luke Killeen, or I don't know if he'll be at reserve. I think he still will, won't he?
I'd imagine so, him and the Mermaid.
Yeah, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. 6th.
6th, I have got the Edinburgh Monarchs. Again, much like your Oxford, your Scunnies, your your Plymouth, there's no standout riders in that team. Justin Sedgman starting the season at number 1 is a bit of a big risk, but we've got strength in depth, and I hope the newbies in the Monarchs team will be worth the while.
I've gone for Berwick in 6th. A lot of change up in Berwick. Craig Cook obviously going there, Peter Kilderman there as well. I think there's potential if they do what they can do. It's just doing what they can do. Will they show it on a regular basis? I don't know. I think it's got all the makings of a team that wins at home but probably gets dicked away. Fifth, Palmer.
5th, I've got Scunthorpe.
Oh, let's hear your thoughts on your team.
Again, I feel as though we're a heat leader short. I feel as though we've got 1 heat leader, 3 second strings and 3 reserves, and that's no disrespect to the lads, but I feel as though it's a standard Scunny thing at the minute. We go for a solid enough 1 to 7, but when it comes to 8, 13 and 15, we're a little bit knackered. Home form will probably see us off the bottom half of the table.
And Luke Harrison raced last season with no real pressure on him. He starts this season in the main body, and there will be pressure on him.
From what I've been told from obviously his dad and that, Rob's not putting any pressure on Luke, and he's not putting any pressure on Luke. He's just any pressure that Luke feels will be what he puts upon himself,
or the fans put on him. I think that's more where it'll come from. That he set a precedent last season, and now there's almost the expectation that he at least maintains that, but exceeds it in some people's eyes.
100%.
5th, I've gone for Glasgow. I don't think their team is fantastic, I'll be honest. There's potential in there. I don't think it's a very good team. I think it just misses out on the playoffs. But then the team I've got ahead of them is an interesting one, and that's an all or nothing kind of thing. So, Palmer, your 4th place. So your first team to get into the playoffs, in your opinion.
Berwick. If Berwick don't somehow make the playoffs this year, I don't think they ever will. I think the team Berwick's signed and assembled for this season is probably the best team they've ever had, especially in the pre-20 or post-2010s era. And if that team doesn't make the playoffs, I think there's something wrong.
I've gone for Edinburgh in fourth. That team is a shit or bust team. There's literally nothing in the middle. It's either going to fly or it's going to prop the table up. There's potential, and I respect the fact they've shown sort of a bit of something to bring Oscar Pollis into British Speedway. They had the almost impossible task of replacing Josh Pickering, who was head and shoulders above pretty much everybody, barring I'd say Richard Lawson in the championship last season. I think they've done the best of what they can with what they've got. There's a couple of potential risks in there, but if it pays off and they hit the ground running and live up to that ceiling, they could make a mockery of the averages they're coming in on.
Can't disagree.
Your third place team in the regular table.
It pains me to say this, and I say this with a tear about to roll down my eye. Glasgow. I think their 1 to 5 overall is probably the best in the league, and it's all British, which makes a change. But I do feel as though the reserves, unless changes are made, the reserves will let down.
And I think Ashton's in that 1 to 5, and he cannot race this season how he ended last season. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
He looked like a National League rider at points last season at the end of it.
James Jessup would have made him look good, and we know how crap James Jessup is.
So for third, I've gone for Workington. I think there's potential there. They've got riders that ride that track well, obviously maintaining Anti-View last, Ishki, Troy Batchelor. They've took a couple of risks, Joy Etheridge I think being the one. But if they all click and that pays off, that could be a very good team. And certainly, I don't think that team loses at home.
No.
Your second place, Palmer.
Oh, this one really was a big toss-up between second and first. However, I do feel as though the team I've got in first has got overall a better strength about them. Lewis Kerr at pole will be a key man if he can stay injury free. Paul will just win every match home and away. But Kerr is the key man.
I've gone for the team I think you've put top, Redcar. I think their top 5 solid. I do worry about their reserves though. That's all I've got to say on Redcar, to be honest. And your number 1, which I think is the same team.
Yeah, Redcar I've put top. I feel as though the fact that all them boys can go to Redcar and practice as a team or individually as and when they want will help them out massively, and that will help them gain a big home track advantage, and they'll be solid enough away with the top 5. And with some of the reserve pairings in the league, I don't think Ace Piper will be too bad.
And now we have a look at what Alan, Winchester and Wheeler said for their predictions before the playoffs. So this is just the regular season. Do you want to read them out?
Please be warned. Alan is a little bit delusional, and so is Winchester. So if their opinions offend you, please get a life. So Alan's got Edinburgh top. He's got Poole in second. Workington in third. Glasgow in fourth. The School of Fourth in fifth. Berwick in sixth. Oxford in seventh. Redcar in eighth, and Plymouth in ninth at the bottom. Winchester has got Poole Pirates top of the league. He's gone for Redcar in second. Workington third. Berwick fourth. Scunthorpe fifth. Glasgow sixth. Oxford seventh. Edinburgh eighth. And his own team, Plymouth, having the heavy shoulders, coming ninth.
I love that. Alan's put Workington top, Edinburgh top, and Winchester's put them bottom, or bottom but one. That's a bit of a difference, isn't it?
The delusional disasters. And then Mr. Paul Wheeler, a man that's got some sense about him. He has put Redcar at the top. He has put Poole in second, Glasgow in third, Scunthorpe in fourth, Oxford in fifth, Berwick sixth, Edinburgh seventh, Workington in eighth, and Plymouth in ninth.
Now we're going to look at our playoff finals. So the champions and the runners up. We'll talk about our two first, and then the other chaps have also given us theirs. So Parma, your runners up.
Redcar. Again, I think if they can avoid Poole in the playoff semi-finals, they'll get them in the final. And we all know what Poole are like when it comes to finals. Unless they do a little season like 2023, oh, the good times.
So for my runners-up, I've gone for Workington. I just think that's a team that has a lot of potential about it, and we use that word potential a lot, but at the minute, we'll have a better idea of this once they've done a couple of meetings, but then it won't be a season preview predictions if we waited until the first 3 or 4 weeks in. So we're doing it based off of what we see now, and I think Workington have got enough about them to get to that final. If similar to what you say with Redcar, if they avoid Poole in the semis, I think they'll go down in the final. And I think we've both got the same team winning the league, so I'll let you explain this one.
Well, all 5 of us have got the same team winning the league.
I'll flash that up on the screen now.
I think for us it's a foregone conclusion. Poole are going to win the league once again.
They're strong, aren't they? And they've obviously got William Cairns coming in June as well, so that'll make an already strong team into, a nigh unbeatable team in my opinion.
Can't disagree.
Alan has gone for Poole and Workington in the final as well, with Poole winning, and Winchester has agreed with Parma, Poole and Redcar in the final, with Poole winning, and Mr. Wheeler has gone a bit different with a Poole and Glasgow final, with the Pirates taking the title. It pained Winchester to do that. Talking of Winchester, was just messaged, for fuck's sake, you started early. Yes, we did.
Yes, we did, Winchester. We was bored.
And now we're going to look at our riders to watch this season. We pick one rider from each team to watch, basically.
Yeah, what you said.
And we've all done this. We'll talk about ours first, and then we'll look at Winchester, Wheeler and McNally's. So, Parma, do you want to start us off with Berwick's rider to watch?
So, I've gone for Daniel Hume.
Or Bob, as he's otherwise known to some of us.
Correct. Yeah, I've gone for Daniel Hume. I think he had a very solid year last year, and he more than held his own in the top 5 of the team. I feel as though this year he should really kick on, and could potentially become the 3rd heat leader in the Berwick patch.
And obviously he's got top flight racing with Sheffield. That can only help him, surely.
Massively.
For Berwick, I've gone for Drew Kemp. He really stepped up last season. He was a bit unlucky. We mentioned him a fair bit in the Premiership one, but he was a bit unlucky with being passed from pillar to post in the top league. I think he was really consistent for Berwick, and towards the end of the season really was that heat leader when Rory Schlein was out injured. And obviously you have guests coming, but as a fully fledged rider, he was the one that stepped up to back up the other heat leaders. I think he's more than capable of becoming the number 5 in that team.
I disagree.
Edinburgh.
Jonathan Grahn.
We've both gone for the same rider, so I'll let you explain this one.
So I have gone for this one purely because he is an unknown to British Speedway. I could have chosen Oscar Polish for the same reason, but I feel as though Jonathan Grahn probably has a little bit more to give British Speedway, because I don't think he rides in Poland. And it's going to be very interesting to see how he adapts to new surroundings over here.
Yeah, I've gone for him as well for pretty much the exact same reasons. And now straight on to the Ouija's.
Kyle Howarth. I think he's got a point to prove to himself. He had a very below par 2024 season and a 2023 season. And I feel as though he needs a big kick up the backside, really, to show the rider that he really was, and who better to give you that kick up the backside than Chris Harris.
In the comments, Fishy Fish says, "Hi lads, no idea who that is, but good evening."
Hello.
For the Ouija's, I've gone for Dan Thompson. He had an absolute stellar season last season, and we've said this before, he was the bright spark in a really shit Plymouth team, and he really stood out. And as much as we joke about and dislike Glasgow for our own reasons, he's in a team which should get him to progress.
And not disagree.
Oxford, I know you really like Oxford.
I really, 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 really like Oxford with all my heart. That was my greatest Rob Peasley impression. Rob, if you're watching, I hope I got a solid 10 out of 10 for that. So my Oxford man to watch is Jordan Jenkins. Every year he's been at Oxford. I think he's been this will be his third season there, and he has progressed each season, but he's also ended each season on the injured list. If he can have a full season where he doesn't get injured, he can easily become the new number 5 at Oxford and progress to a heat leader status.
I think I know who Fishy Fish is now.
Who's Fishy Fish?
I think it's Ashton Barker, or Badger Racing as he's affectionately known. My rider to watch for Oxford is Jordan Jenkins. He's had a difficult season. He spent most of it injured, and you could see every interview he did on BSN. You could see the frustration. He's obviously out in America at the moment. He's riding in the GB and USA international meeting on Saturday evening. Yeah, and that'll be his first proper meeting for about 8 months or something silly like that, because he spent a lot of last season on the shelf, didn't he?
That's a long time.
So he'll have a point to prove. He's obviously back in the Rising Star scheme in the top league as well, and staying at Ipswich. So I think he'll familiar surroundings again for Jordan this year. Your pool man to watch.
Oh, I have gone for the one man who I adore in that pool team because he likes to scare the cunts. Tobias Thompson. I haven't just picked him because he goes and swears on BSN.
A man after your own heart.
I think he had a very, very solid 2024 season. Everybody, as soon as he was announced at Poole, everybody was questioning his ability. And he proved to be one of the best signings that Poole made last season. And I can only see him kicking on this season.
And he's something that we don't see enough of in British Speedway anymore. He's a showman, coming around doing donuts, swearing on BSN and getting a nice big fine for it. I don't think he had a fantastic season on the whole in 24, but he definitely stepped it up when it counted. I've gone for Poole's mid-season 2025 signing. I think William Cairns will be the man to watch when he goes to that team. We've both said this before, I think on a stream as well. We both expect him to end up in the top 5, even only doing half a season.
Can we also just congratulate Poole on being the first team to make a mid-season change in the end of January? That is some going for Poole, but if anyone had to win that award, it had to be them, didn't it?
A delayed dafter.
Yeah.
And to be fair, we've got to give credit to Matt Marson as well, who's come in knowing that he's got 3.5 months to ride out of his skin and try and save his job when William Cairns does come in. He agreed a championship contract before it was announced he was doing National League, and he's backed on himself, and he's bet on himself, and he's confident in his own ability, and he's looking at it as an opportunity to put himself in the shop window, and you've got to respect that.
I hope it works out for him. I really do.
Plymouth's rider to watch. Now this will be fun because there won't be a lot to choose from.
Shit rider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Or Selena Lehman. Oh, did I say that out loud? I've gone for Mitchell Clough. The reason being, almost the same as Jonathan Gran at Edinburgh, is new to the British League, and it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to tracks over here.
I've gone for Joe Thompson. He was absolutely fantastic for Plymouth last season. Both the Thompson boys were, but there was a period through the season where Joe Thompson was undefeated in Heat 2s in any meetings for Plymouth. And that's not easy to do. I know he's been around for a while, but, he stepped back from Premiership racing and, put all his eggs on Plymouth. And I think he was fantastic for in what, again, was a shit Plymouth team.
Plymouth having a shit team? Never.
No. Your red car man to watch.
I have gone for Jake Mulford. I think Jake, in 2024, he had a very, very, very good season, and I fully expect him to kick on again this season. Being in the main 5, I don't think that will bother him too much. So yeah, Jake Mulford.
I'm going to go with the other second string in that red car team, Jason Edwards. A bit like Jake Mulford, he had a good 2024, and that team's got a very good 3 heat leaders, and then you add those 2 in there as well. And if they're both on their game, that's an unbeatable top 5, I think, at home. And I think Jason Edwards plays a massive part in that. Your team's man to watch, Palmer, Scunny.
Right. Oh, look at that. We've gone for the same man.
You can speak about this one then, because it's probably for the same reasons.
I definitely haven't picked this man because I work for his boss. For his dad, sorry. Same thing. I've got for Luke Harrison. I think he had a very, very good 2024 debut championship season. I know he did half a season at Red Car the year before, but they were only guest bookings, so they don't count. And yet he just had a very good season, and he was regularly getting Heat 13 rides because Tofty was shit. And he led Josh Pickering for 3 3/4 laps. Not many riders do that.
And I definitely haven't put him because he's my boss, because he's not. But I think Luke Harrison as well. I saw him when he was riding as the Wolves mascot in 2022.
That sounds right.
2 or 3, might have been 23. But he for someone at such a young age to master Monmore, and he looked really comfortable. They raced for the Wolf Cubs team, and he was not untouchable. And he's just progressed since then. He was fantastic last season. He more than held his own at reserve for Scunny, and he takes the step up into the main body. I think he's. I think any success that Scunny have, Luke Harrison will be a big part of it. And I think he's in your National League team as well, isn't he? Along with Luke Harris, not to get confused with the 2. That's going to be fun.
Luke Harris, Luke Harrison, Luke Muff, Harrison Rogers. Oh, what a team! What a team! And
finally, I don't know if we've gone different on this one or the same, but
we have gone different on this one.
We've gone different. Oh, you're Workington man to watch.
Fraser Bowes, he's doing really good stuff at the moment in Australia, and I feel as though if Workington are to have any success, it depends on Fraser Bowes bringing his Australian and Polish form over to Cumbria.
I've gone with Antivulas. He's he's coming into his, I think it's his 2nd full season now.
Big up the Norton, yeah.
And he was fantastic for Workington last season. Absolutely flies around Northside. Looks unbeatable. He got on the podium in the Ben Fun meeting there as well with 2 Grand Prix riders. We both think he'd have a big season in the top league. I don't see any reason why he won't have a massive season in the second league either. And I think there's every opportunity that he can push Troy Batchelor for that number 1 race jacket for Workington.
Would not be surprised.
And we'll have a look through the other boys' riders to watch. Do you want me to do these ones, being as you did the teams and playoffs and stuff, or do you want to?
Go on, I'll allow you the honour because I've just shut it down on my computer.
So Alan has gone for, no surprise, an ex-Ouija as Berwick's man to watch, Craig Cook. He's agreed with us on Jonathan Grant for Edinburgh. He's agreed with me on Dan Thompson for Glasgow. Luke Killeen he's gone for Oxford. Lassie Fredrickson, who I won't lie, I completely forgot was riding for Plymouth. He's gone for Lewis Kerr for Poole, Eric Riss for Redcar, Steve Worrell for Scunthorpe, and he's gone for Spinny Vinny Ford at Workington.
Basically, if you were a Ouija or an ex-Ouija, you're Alan's one to watch.
Yeah, basically. Mr. Winchester has gone with Peter Kildemand for Berwick, Justin Sedgman for Edinburgh, Carl Howarth for Glasgow, Mitch McMermaid for Oxford, Nikolai Clint, surprise, fucking prize, Nikolai Clint at Plymouth, Zach Cook at Poole, who does need a big season this season. He's gone for Danny King at Redcar, Zane Kennedy at Scunny, and Fraser Bowes is copied you at Workington. And Mr. Wheeler, a man who has some brains. He's gone for Sam Hagan at Berwick, someone that gets overlooked, but he is the British is he under 21 or under 19 champion? Under 19 British champion?
No, he's under 21 champion.
Under 21
yeah,
British
he's under
champion.
21.
One of them.
Yeah, under 21.
He's gone for Justin Sedgman at Edinburgh. He's gone like me and Alan for Dan Thompson with the Ouijas. He's gone like me and Palmer with Jordan Jenkins for Oxford. He's gone for Alfie Botel at Plymouth, a man who had a really good season in 23, not quite so much last season though. He's gone for, like Palmer, Tobias Thompson at Poole. He's gone like me with Jason Edwards at Redcar. He's gone for Connor Mountain at Scunny, a man who I think really needs a big season this year. And he's gone for, like me, Antivulas at Workington.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Connor. Your Connor comment. You know, obviously we've got an 8-point rider and a 7-point rider, and then it drops to like whatever size on a 5 summit. But I feel as though if Connor just keeps doing what he's doing and just gets his head down and quietly progresses like he has done, I can't see why he can't become the 3rd heat leader at Scunny.
This is the part we obviously don't like talking about. We'll start off on a lighter note with our surprise packages of the championship. It'll also feature into the first rider to be replaced and the first rider to be signed. So Palmer, your championship surprise package.
So I have gone for William Cairns. I think everybody kind of just expects Will Cairns to go in there and absolutely smash it, and I have no doubt that he will. I just think everyone will be surprised to just how good he is. You know, I watch him regular at practice sessions and at amateur meetings at Scunthorpe, and he can do 4 laps around Scunthorpe quicker than some of the championship boys, and I think that tells you all you need to know about Will Cairns.
I've gone for Bastian Bork. He was progressing nicely last season before his injury, and you know he's still not 100% fit yet, and we are getting close to the season. So this one kind of depends on how he comes back. But if he comes back the same as he was pre-injury last season, I can't see any reason why he won't be the surprise package in the championship. So now our rider, we've put sacked. You know, released or, you know, leaving a team, you know, they may decide to leave, you know, they may not necessarily get their P45, they may just decide that the time's not right. So, the sacked and signed riders. Palmer, first of all, your rider to leave their team spot first.
Ashton Bougen. I feel as though it all depends on how he starts the season with Glasgow. If he starts the season alright, then he'll be fine, but if he starts the season like he ended the season, Glasgow are a big team that will not hesitate to make that change, even though riding with his pal, his mentor Chris Harris, should help him, but it's the Ouijas.
And a little bit like Jordan Jenkins is out racing in America, isn't he? So he'll be getting a bit of pre-season track time, in a competitive meeting.
Correct.
So I've gone for Nikolai Clint to be the first one to leave his team spot. Whether that's by release, whether that's by mutual decision, I don't see Nikolai Clint doing the full season at Plymouth. I just don't. I understand why he's gone there. I think it's important for him, for his Premiership team as well as himself, to get the most track time he can get. And if that Championship spot's offering him that. But what happens when he feels back up to full speed and back to himself? I just don't think he stays in the Championship then, if I'm honest.
If them polls come calling, Plymouth go knocking.
Yeah. Or crying, one of the two.
Both.
And obviously with the rider leaving, someone's got to come in. Palmer, who's your first rider to be signed?
So, I've gone very, very, very controversial here. Selena Liebman, don't get me wrong, she was a bit crap last year for Workington. However, I do feel as though teams will probably want a 3 to 4 point average rider at some point, and Selena just fits the bill, and she is very keen to come back to the UK.
I've gone for an even more controversial one than you have, because this isn't a young up-and-coming rider or anything like that. This is an experienced rider and someone that's done a lot of Championship. I think Josh Pickering will be the first rider to be signed. We know he's left the Championship to focus on trying to get the meetings in Poland, but if we know what the Poles are like and their squad sizes. If he has a bad meeting, he's not guaranteed to get in the team again for some time. And I think if he finds himself on the sidelines for too long, he may look at coming back into the Championship to get those confidence boosting rides.
Can't disagree.
And now we'll have a look at the other boys predicted. So Alan has gone for Tom Spencer to be released first. I just think that's a silly shout, if I'm honest.
Bit delusional from Alan.
Winchester went for Mitchell Clough and Paul Wheeler went for Paul Stark. Stark is in a really interesting position, and he's at Paul, but he's been sacked from Paul before.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Very much so, but then again, if Starkey performs, and so does Matty Marson, that gives Paul a lot of question marks.
It does, yeah. Do you want to do the first signed riders for the other boys?
So, Alan has said Adam Roynan will be the first rider signed.
Because that went well in 2024, didn't
it? Daniel Winchester has gone for Jody Scott.
Which that might not be too out there if word on the grapevine is to be believed either.
And Paul Wheeler has said Adam Ellis to come back into the Championship for somebody. Please be Scunthorpe.
Do you want to do the surprise packages as well?
And Alan's gone for Oscar Pollis, Winchester's gone for Fraser Bowes, and Mr. Wheeler has gone for Samuel Hagen.
Some really interesting names thrown in there, aren't there?
There is, I agree.
So we've built this as our little Shoot Some Shale team update, but first of all, we've made an executive decision before we started this stream that there'll be one on Sunday, Palmer.
Yes, so we trialled out a couple of weeks ago doing a watch-along / live reactions kind of trial to a hockey stream. So we decided we're gonna do it again. Check out D&D Media on Facebook for all the details as they come at some point between now and Sunday morning.
And there's also something dropping on Saturday, as long as it's completely finished. We've been working on this for a little while, so there's something else to keep your eyes on Facebook.
Yeah.
And Palmer, do you want to bring us to the important news of this stream, the Shoot Some Shale team for 2025 update?
So, if we could all place our hands together and bow our heads and just have 25 seconds of silence to remember the Shoot Some Shale career of Alan McNally due to his his availability and commitment levels to us. It was a mutual decision between the two parties. However, Alan has reluctantly been released from his volunteering schedule.
He won't get primary preference. You know, it always used to be we'd set up a stream, and if we needed a third person involved, it'd be Alan that we went to first. His availability's changed. A little bit of feedback we got as well, actually, has also played a part in that, and so yeah, he won't be getting the first preference now. And like you say, it's just one of them things, isn't it? Availability's just changed, and we have to move with the times. And you know, if he's not around, what's the point in keep asking him?
But Gru, who's leaving Job Centre, if you're available on race days where we're doing something, give us a call. I'm sure we'll be able to fit you in somewhere.
Get you a scarf, take a bit more of your hair off, and that's you, that is.
Don't you threaten me with a good time. Wait, you want to take the rest of your hair off?
There ain't a lot of it left, is there?
No.
And I think that's probably about it. Nothing's really changed for our planned watch-along start schedule. We are keeping an eye on what happens with Niels Christian Iversen's testimonial. If that's not the first one, then the Ben Fund will be, as long as it's streamed.
I'm sure I've seen somewhere that the Ben Fund is being streamed.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. They did last year, didn't they? BSN covered it. We're not doing a watch-along to the USA and GB meeting on Saturday.
No, because we've got a Royal Rumble to watch, and that will be so much better than watching America and Great Britain their bottoms.
And yeah, the Royal Rumble starts early. It's also 9 o'clock, and you know, obviously living with relatives, both of us, we couldn't do a decent commentary whilst they're trying to sleep. And these meetings...
You have relatives that sleep?
Well, yeah. It's always a start.
What it's like.
So our first watch along will be in March. There will be next Tuesday night, Palmer.
Next Tuesday.
You ain't forgot already, have you?
No, I've just looked at the whiteboard. So we do have the Shoot Some Shale friend of the channel. Paul Wheeler, when I can get it out, joining us at 7 o'clock a week today, just for a chinwag on all things Speedway and Mildenhall.
And after yesterday's news of Mildenhall competing in the National Development Trophy, there'll be plenty for us to talk about with him.
Yes, there will.
On that note, I think that's it.
I can't think of anything else we need to say. Other than, if you're Winchester watching, we do not apologise for what we said about Plymouth. Other than that, can't think of anything else, really.
No, nothing for me. We've been on nearly an hour. I'm glad we started early now.
So am I. Evening plans.
So do you want to wrap us up for this one? We're back on Sunday with the Leeds and Swindon hockey watch along, and then back on Tuesday with and on the hockey watch along to reactions. There may be some swearies because Swindon are playing and Palmer likes to swear.
Yes, I do. So watch out for a big announcement on Saturday at some point during the day. We haven't really decided that yet. I need to finish that project off before we release it to the big wide world. So if you don't see that on Saturday, shame on you. Sunday, catch us for Leeds versus Swindon in the hockey, where I will ultimately say somebody is a beep beep. And then we'll see you on Tuesday. But for now, thanks for listening to us rant on about why Discovery are a bunch of knobs, and we'll see you soon.